Column chromatography. Column of stationary phase is used in column chromatography. The stationary phase could be either solid or liquid. Let's see how the column chromatography works. This is our column. We are packing it with adsorbent or the stationary phase. Next, we are introducing the sample. The sample is nothing but the mixture of compound. Next, we are introducing the mobile phase. Mobile phase carries the sample through the stationary phase, and as a result the sample components get separated. The compound which is having more affinity to stationary phase travels slower, and the compound which is having less affinity to stationary phase travels faster. Compound B is having less affinity, so it get eluted first, and later compound A is eluted. Advantages. Any type of mixture can be separated. Any quantity of mixture can also be separated. Wider choices of mobile phase are available. Automation is also possible. Disadvantages include it is a time consuming method. More amount of solvent is required, hence it is expensive. Automation makes the technique complicated and expensive. Principle. We need a mobile phase and a stationary phase. The mobile phase used is liquid and the stationary phase could be either liquid or solid. If we are using liquid stationary phase, then the principle will be partition, and if we are using solid stationary phase, then the principle will be adsorption. In this video, we will be discussing about column adsorption chromatography as it is more widely used. When a mixture of compound dissolved in mobile phase is subjected through a column of stationary phase, then the compounds move based on their relative affinity to stationary phase. That is, the compound which is having less affinity to stationary phase moves faster and is eluted first, and the compound which is having greater affinity to stationary phase moves slower and is eluted later. Thus, the compounds are separated. The rate of movement of a component r can be mathematically expressed as r is equal to distance travelled by solute divided by distance travelled by solvent. Next, we are discussing about the practical requirements of column chromatography. It include stationary phase, mobile phase, column characteristics, preparation of column, introduction of sample development technique, detection of components and recovery of components. First, we will discuss about stationary phase or adsorbent. Based on the adsorbent activity, it can be of three types: weak adsorbent, medium adsorbent, and strong adsorbent. Example for weak adsorbent include sucrose, starch, and talc. Example for medium adsorbent include calcium carbonate, and magnesium oxide. Example for strong adsorbents include silica gel, activated charcoal, and activated magnesia. Next, we will discuss about mobile phase. Mobile phase functions as a solvent, as a developing agent, or as an eluent. Examples include petroleum ether, benzene, and acetone. Column characteristics. Column is made up of good quality neutral glass, and the length to diameter ratio ranges from 10:1 to 30:1. For better efficiency, 100:1 is used. An ordinary burette can also be used as a column for separation. Preparation of column. There are two techniques for preparing column. It include dry packing technique and wet packing technique. In dry packing technique, the bottom portion of the column is packed with glass wool. This is done to prevent clogging of the column by adsorbent. We can also use cinder disc or filter paper disc. Next, we are packing the column with adsorbent in dry form. In dry packing technique, we are using adsorbent in dry form. Next, we are placing a filter paper disc at the top so that the adsorbent layer is not disturbed during the introduction of sample or mobile phase, as disturbances can lead to irregular bands of separation. Next, we are introducing mobile phase. So we can see that air bubbles are formed. This is the main demerit of this technique. Entrapment of air bubbles and cracks are seen in this technique. Wet packing technique is an ideal technique. In this technique, the bottom portion of the column is packed with glass wool or cinder disc or filter paper disc. Next, we are introducing the required quantity of adsorbent dissolved in mobile phase into the column. The adsorbent settles slowly and we can see that there is no entrapment of air bubble or no cracks in adsorbent column. So this method is preferred over dry packing technique. Introduction of sample. The sample is introduced once the column is ready. Sample is a mixture of components dissolved in minimum quantity of mobile phase used for preparing column. So we are introducing the sample. We can see that the individual components get separated by elution. What is elution? The development technique is called as elution. It can be of two types, isocratic elution technique and gradient elution technique. In isocratic elution technique, solvents of same polarity is used. Example include chloroform and 1:1 ratio of petroleum ether and benzene. In gradient elution technique, solvents of gradually increasing polarity is used. That is, first we will be using benzene, then chloroform, then ethyl acetate, methanol, etc. Detection of components. Components can be either colored or colorless. If the compound is colored, it can be detected visually. If it is colorless, it can be detected by UV visible detector, fluorescence detector, etc. Recovery of components is by elution technique. We have already discussed it earlier. Factors affecting column efficiency are listed below. The dimension of column should be 100:1 for more efficiency. Particle size of adsorbent should be small so that surface area will be more and thus adsorbent activity increases. The solvent used should be less viscous for better efficiency. The temperature of the column should be at room temperature. High pressure above the column and low pressure below the column increases the efficiency. Here are few applications of column chromatography. Separation of mixture of drugs, alkaloids, glycosides, amino acids, etc. Removal of impurities. Isolation of active constituents from plant extracts. Isolation of metabolites from urine, cortisol, blood, plasma, serum, etc. Estimation of drugs in formulations or crude drugs. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.